Hello all, and welcome to a tutorial. So, yeah, oh my goodness, I said so again. I say it so often. Who cares? I'm gonna do it until I die. It's gonna say so until my mouth falls off. So anyway, yeah, so, requests. Here's the hair tuning, sorry, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I'm like, oh, so, as you can see here, I already did those two, which means next is hair coloring tutorial, which is CartoonMangaBlock's request. And I asked him exactly what, and he said colored pencil, and somehow I managed to remember that. So, we're going to be doing a hair coloring tutorial with colored pencils. So, I thought I would use something I already had drawn before. This was supposed to be my contest entry to Lemia Crescent's contest. There were some misunderstandings, and I didn't have enough time to enter it, so. And also because it was taking too long to do it on the computer. If I can pull it up real quick, I'll try and pull up the, what I was working on already, so. It's somewhere in here, in my, library of many pictures and Photoshop files. I will try to find it quickly. Let's see, file, open, and where is it? Alright, here we go. I'll just move this over so that we can see it here. So it's taking 1 second to come up. Sorry if this is all shaky, but it's hard to hold up with one hand. Oops. Oh, because this used to be a side picture, so then I had to convert it to a Photoshop picture on side, which I did hopefully like the day before I lose the whole picture. So it still looks really good, and I like it. It's pretty. Here's what I had so far of the line art and stuff. So take that off and take that off, then boom, I don't even have the picture on there. So if I take those off, then we'll see this, which is my line art. This was the base color I was going to use because I was going to make it like a country-ish yellowy kitchen. Here's what's left of the sketch because I erased it as I went on. Light source, which kind of has some of the light on them. So then we have coloring that I was starting to do with me, coloring I was starting to do with Win, and then Hershey down there, which he obviously didn't get done yet. He looks like a black blob. Yay. So, the only other person I had gotten to line art was Piper. So, here it is, the sketch from before. I didn't even finish the sketch completely. It was so overwhelming, the whole entire thing. I actually had to end up cutting two of the characters out of here, which was the other picture of him right there, because they're the same character, and her, because I didn't like how she turned out. So it would have been kind of not really working right, so it didn't really end the best. So I'm actually gonna just end up using Lemia here, I think, for the hair coloring tutorial, because I did a guy before and I guess it was a little too easy, and I'm going to be using a lot of time lapse in this picture, so in this video I made, not this picture. So I'm going to trace over her right now, and I'll be right back. So I managed to sort of do this. I should probably turn this fan off. Alright, so you're gonna hear some talking in the background. I'm watching a stream, a fancy stream, fancy. So, I muted it. Haha. I feel evil now. So anyway, This character isn't even mine. I should have darkened these edges a bit more, so I guess I'll just talk as I'm darkening it up. So, yeah. I'm gonna ink it after this, and I'll just say a little something about this character, I guess. So this character isn't really mine. I was going to draw it for Lemia Crescent's contest here. So it's not really my character, but I drew her in my style, so which the hair is different than my usual style. So yeah. What I did first is I thought I could just trace over it like this, but then I realized I couldn't, so I tried to darken it. It didn't really work out either. So I'm like, you know, I'll just like resort to the simple like 8th grade art class thing that I did, or like 7th grade middle school art class where you like shade on the back. Even art class I do now, where you like just shade on the back and then you go over it. Quite handy. I recommend it if you don't have like a light box and if you don't care as much about the sketch being like dark behind it. So, I mean, I like the sketch, but I don't care that much about it. So, yeah. It's gonna darken some edges up, and after that, I'm gonna ink it. I don't know why I'm darkening it up. Oh my goodness. Alright, so I'm gonna just make her body and her, I think her shirt went like that or something. Doesn't matter now. So, I just want to make it long enough so her hair goes as long as it's supposed to be. The character that originally wasn't. I forgot to do the shirt too. Isn't that great? Alright, so I'm gonna try and do this. How can I do this without making it look weird? Oh my goodness. So, oh, I messed it up because I'm using the wrong eraser. Ah, no. You know what? I think I'm just gonna go and, I'm trying to fix it up. As I'm trying to fix it up, I'm gonna, I'll use my, part of my sushi. I'll just, do the thingy from here, the whole time-lapse thingamabob. The wave of my pencil becomes the thingy. Alright. Okay, so I kind of darkened it up, and now I'm going to ink it. I also realized that when you do the thing on the dark on the other side, it's kind of hard to remember, like, exactly what you're doing. You might not see if you don't do something. Like, I hadn't done the face there, and I forgot to do this, and a little thing back there, and some other stuff. So, now I'm just going to ink it. I'm going to be using, I think I'm not going to be, I just ran over my pencil. This is the only damage that was done. It sounded like the thing cracked in half. I'm like, that's not possible. So, I'm doing this like a couple days after I actually started this video, just because. So, here is a new box of Prismacolor fine line markers. I'm not using this, so I don't want to waste it. It's gonna be used only for good pictures. So, I'm using my Inkjoy, just pen, Papermate pen. So, yeah, I'm gonna get started. So, oh my goodness, I added so much. I added arms. She has arms now, and a hand. I was gonna use that, but I didn't like it as much. I'm like, you know what? It'd be too much to draw anyway. I would have to draw, like, partially her legs. So, I'm turning this more into fan art. It's technically fan art now. So, turns out I actually do have to use my inking thingies to quickly ink her eyelashes. inches because I don't have anything small enough, because this is a really small picture. It's gonna be really hard to do a hair tutorial. I should have chosen a bigger picture, but too late. So, yeah. Now I'm going to wait a little while, and then I'm going to erase all these lines, and then I'm going to go on to the next step. And after I fix up the lines a little bit, so I'm just gonna stop the video here, take a little break, and then I will I'll erase the lines, and then I'll be done. Oh, and I'm using my new fancy, like, blue ruler thing. I like it. It's nice and colorful. So I have my pink one in my backpack. I'm too lazy to go get it, even though it's like right next to me. Alright, so I'll be back in a couple minutes or something like that. So, now I inked it, and I'm just going to go over it as I talk a little bit. So I'm going to bring out my good old trusty Crayola colored pencils. I might end up actually using my new pack, which I just got, which is a, I think 50 something pack. I think it's just 50. And, yeah, it should be fun. I may have to look at some references to remember what the colors on Lemi's clothes are. I'm pretty sure I remember. I just want to take a quick little look and make sure. So I'm just going over these lines right now, making sure they're nice and good. So this isn't really an inking tutorial, so I'm not trying to make them like the bestest lines ever, but I'm trying to make them look nice, at least, so it looks like a professional drawing, or a finished piece at least. Making sure the lines are fairly even, and they have some kind of different, width to them. Different weight in the lines. So I am going to be having a inking tutorial anyway, so this will be explained in another video, I guess. So yeah, I totally messed up on the arm here, because I'm doing too much of like a scrapey kind of action, and it's just getting all over the place. So that's just something I'm just gonna have to leave and ignore, because it's not that big of a deal. I missed a few little details, like the, whatever these are called, underneath the part of the thingy that's coming up, and someone's trying to talk to me. Goodness. Oh, it's giant perfections. Okay then. My goodness, I'm messing up lines. This line is just gonna be really dark then. Okay, so I know talking makes it like twice as long. Goodness. I'm almost done here, and then I'm gonna wait for it to dry a little bit more, and then I'll be back in a second with my colored pencils as I talk to Haruaki. Alright, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I got everything done. Pretty much ready to start coloring it. Sorry for loud noises. But I found all the colors I was going to use, which are right here. The colors I'm using for the hair are right here. I'm pretty sure it's these two right there. So we'll be going over that soon. I made like a little setup where I tested the colors up here and down there, and this is where the colors I'm going to use are, because just like that, because I like doing stuff like that. So I'm going to check this one little email and see whatever this is. Okay, it's boring. So alright, so let's see. Let's get this ruler out of the way. Okay, so this is how we color hair on manga characters and such with colored pencils. I don't really know how to use Copics or anything else, so don't ask me about those. Yeah, alright, that's it. Now, what you really want to do is you want to start out with the darkest color. Though I kind of like starting with the lightest color. What I usually do when I'm just coloring regular things is I'm going from darkest to the lightest. So, sorry. Ooh, what is that? I'm hoping I didn't make like some crazy mark. I checked and it turns out it kind of messed up the shirt a little bit. It wasn't really supposed to look like that, it was supposed to look different. But that doesn't matter, so let's see how we're going to do this. Let's take a little check down here. Now if we're going to start doing from the bottom, from the darkest up, I'm going to go like that. I'm going to start with the darkest color, I'm going to feather it, and then I'm kind of like testing this out here, I'm not really sure about this. And then we're going to go up with the next darkest color, and we're going to go up from that. Trying to make sure we know what we're doing. And then what we want to do is we want to go with our lightest color. So I think I've gotten a bit too used to doing digital art because this is the opposite of what I would do with digital art. I'd start with the lightest and then they go up. I'm not really sure if this is the best idea, but this kind of gets all the colors blended into the right color that you want, which is this light brown. I want this to be like the main hue that I'm using that will like color all the colors and make them like about this kind of like brightness and darkness, as you can see there, because it looked different before. And then I went over it and it came to that color, which is what I want. Now I'm wondering if I can get the same way by doing this. So we're doing the feathering, but we're doing it with the lightest. And we're going over everything, with the lightest. And then we're going to go a little bit darker with the lightest. Going slightly closer to the end of the other one. Then very dark at the end. Now what you're going to do, go over the next one. The next lightest. And then getting lighter towards the top and darker towards the bottom. Then what we're going to do is we're going to finish off with the darkest on the bottom here. And it turns out I don't really like that. Usually I think I used to start with the dark since I'm so used to digital art and stuff. So I'm going to start with the darkest first. Because I remember with my Sappy drawing I actually started with the darkest, but that's a lighter hair color, so it's a little different. It won't like show if you make a mistake as much. So what you're going to do is you're going to find out where you're going to have the highlights and where the light source is coming from. So I have a pretty fluorescent color right here. I'm just going to use this to find out the light source. I'm thinking the light source should be like maybe around here, because that's where I usually have light sources. I don't usually have them coming down from here or there, or from like the bottom or the very, very top. So I'm thinking that something nice would be maybe around here, so you can get more, like less shading too close to the eye, or maybe not. So I'm gonna put it over here, because this is where I usually put color if this is like this face is facing that side. You don't want someone staring right into the sun too. So sun. I sort of got it almost in there. Very, very close. It's not gonna mess up or anything. I can barely even see it, so. Actually my camera's showing it up more than my than I can just see it like normally. So that's a beautiful sun. Its rays are like out there and stuff. It's going all over the place. Alright, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna like at least think of where the highlights are gonna be in your head. So where I'm gonna have highlights is, I'm just gonna put this in pencil so I can erase it, is around here. I'm gonna get lighter towards the bottom and then bigger towards the sun. So as it gets darker, you wanna have less highlight. The highlight gets bigger as it gets closer to the sun, and then you're gonna have a couple breaks in the highlight, like where different parts of the hair break up. And then we're gonna have some highlight a tad bit over here, because it's still in the sun, and this side is going to be really highlighted on this end right here, because you can really see that in the sun. We're going to do same like we did here, over here, on this piece. And you get in this piece a little bit of a highlight towards the end of the hair there. And here we're going to get like darker, because it's overlapping pieces. And it's going to make it darker. So I'm going to erase all this when I'm done. So that's what it should look like. If you're doing it in pencil, this is what it was going to look like. And like so. Maybe a little bit of highlight on the head, which I'm pretty much going to do like a part in head kind of style thing, because that's what I do. I don't even know why I do that. And maybe a little bit of a highlight on top, like a very little bit, because it's kind of not really facing the sun as much. And you're going to have a little bit of a highlight here, a little bit here. This little piece of hair is going to have a bit of a highlight. And you're going to have highlights on this hair here. You have to imagine breaking up this piece of hair into multiple pieces, and where each of those pieces are going to have the highlights and such. We're not actually breaking it up with the with the line art. I'm sorry, I'm tired, so I'm not speaking right. So that's pretty much what it's gonna look like. Maybe a little bit more of a highlight around here, maybe. So I'm gonna erase it now. I used the wrong eraser. So I'm gonna erase this real quick. Then I'm gonna show you the first step here. Now I'm gonna time lapse me going over with the darkest. And what you're going to do with the darkest first is you're going to go to the very tip. You're not going to get too close to where you're going to put the highlight. You want to have this towards like where you're not going to have the highlight, if that makes any sense. And maybe a little bit in the parts, just to give that a little bit more dimension. I'm going to go over the top a very little bit because you're not going to see as much darkness at the very top of a piece of hair. You're going to go a little bit darker towards the bottom. So if you can see there, this is how we're going to start this out. So this does look like black. This is actually a dark brown. Ooh, a little too close to the camera there. If you can read that, it says dark brown. So it looks very close to black, but it's not. And it blends better with browns. So I'm going to go over the hair here. Alright, so as you can see, what I did here and there is I'm putting the darkest parts down first, and I'm doing it very lightly, as light as this color will possibly go. I'm not pressing down very hard at all. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it for all of them, so I'm just going to time lapse this really quick. Okay, so now we have here, I finished it. Right here, like one tip is when you're doing a part in the hair, you do first draw like a darker line of the color. I wonder if this affects the light at all. My monitor kind of turned off, so I'm wondering if it affects the light of the video. So it should come up any second now, but it's taking forever. So. Alright, I think it did help the light a little bit, I'm not sure, so sorry, my voice is a little raspy, so I'm tired, so yep, I'm tired. When am I not? I'm always tired. Okay, so here we have the hair. Like I said, darker and gets a little lighter, and you kind of do more strokes towards as you're going like this, so it kind of gets the effect of being a part in the hair. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go with the next color right here, which is brown, just regular old brown, and we're going to go over the hair again like we did with this, but it's going to be quite a bit different. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go closer to the highlighter with this, but we're still, the highlight, but we're still doing it very lightly. So I'm going to go over the spots that we did a little bit harder already, the spots that we already had. Okay, so, I don't know if that got in there, but, yeah. I think I should do it with this one too, so I think I was kind of out of frame. I'm so sorry, people. Wasting time. Wasting your precious time, making your life pass by. Wasting time, you could be like, I don't know, jump off cliffs in like Brazil or something. That's a joke my Spanish teacher said today. So what I'm doing is I'm going darker towards here and I'm getting lighter. I think somebody came home already. My parents might be home, I'm not sure. I'm gonna check real quick. Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm hearing doors open and close. I'm wondering why. Alright, so as you may see, I put a dark spot in there. That's supposed to be like the other side of the hair, sorta, I guess. I don't know. It looks fine. It's beautiful. Alright, so I'm just gonna time lapse from here the rest. If I did not explain this enough. Well, I'm sure there's not much more to explain, so I already said it. So, just take what I explained before when I was off frame and use it here. Alright, so now I'm going to time lapse this. See? Oop. So I'm back and I'm looking at my camera and it's kind of a weird color compared to what it really is. So okay, let me speak properly. I'm obviously gonna have a scan or whatever at the end when I scan it. So I got a comment on my video. A few things. One, I like your teacher voice. What? Okay. I have some large paper that I got for $15. 3, I use a lot of paper and just print something cheap, so I like it a little. Cool for you, Jane Straub. Oh, that sounds fun. I like that name. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with this one, it's a little bit trickier since my highlights are kind of small at this point. And I'm using one other color, so it's going to have really small highlights, but it's still going to be highlights. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go over a lot harder over the stuff that I already did, so it gets this beautiful color and it makes the whole thing this nice color. It makes it all beautiful and stuff. Now what I do is I lightly, very, very lightly go over the highlight with this color. So at least the highlight has a little bit of color, because when people have darker hair, the highlights tend to have a little bit of a color of the hair. And it also looks pretty cool too. This is looking so good so far, but it's not really looking very good on the camera. It looks kind of, these little white pieces you get, it looks a lot like that on here because it's so close up. So yeah, okay. So if you saw what I did there, then good for you, because I'm gonna time lapse. I'm not very good at tutorials, I'm sure of it. So I'll be right back. So, I have done that pretty much. Okay, so this is pretty much how you color hair. I'm gonna time lapse the rest where I'm just coloring everything else. So I actually like how this hair turned out. It looks pretty nice. I like it. Alright, so one last thing that you might want to do is you might want to add some highlights. Now I'm going to be using my white Jelly Roll gel pen. And it's simply, oh wow, I'm pushing my computer's blurry. I'm listening to a song in a music video, and it paused. I paused it, and it looks weird for it stopped. Alright, anyway, you're pretty much gonna put it on the sides of the hair where you're gonna see most of the sun, and then a little bit of the highlights that you have there, and I don't like how it turning out so far. So if you don't like it, either dab it off before it dries, or when it does dry, take something that you can scrape it off with and scrape it, because that's what's awesome about this stuff, is you can scrape it off if you don't like what you did. And I'm not crazy about the whole line on this hair here, so whatever, it looks fine. I like it. It's nice. So I'm gonna add a little bit down here, so you're gonna see a little bit of sunlight hit that. It's really bright because it's so thick compared to like the drawing. This drawing's really small. I mean, I've done plenty of small drawings, but this is pretty big, so. If it goes over a line and you don't want it to, just simply take your pencil and kind of scrape at it a little bit, very closely. If a little bit gets in there, like I just did, it doesn't really matter, I really don't care. So, if you need to, take a really small eraser and just go over it somehow. You can erase that little bit off. Maybe go over it again with this white gel pen. So I'm making mistakes all around here. I keep on making mistakes today on my drawing. Yes. Not in life. I never make mistakes in life. Life is not a place where I make mistakes. So I'm gonna go over the highlights a little bit too. Make them stand out a little more. Very little bit here because there's not a whole lot of highlights. So if you want to dab it off a little bit with your finger, I don't really want it to be right there, and that one edge right there, so you can scrape it off a little bit. Also a little bit here, just a little tad bit. Maybe just dab it off just to make it a little bit lighter, to like where you see it and stuff. So I'm gonna scrape this. So, yeah, I finished everything. I'm sorry, but like I was doing a whiteout and I got cut out because my SD card got filled up. It's been a couple days because I haven't found time to record again because my parents actually got home, so I couldn't really fix it because I had to empty my SD card and it took too long. So, yeah, so I pretty much finished it. And now my throat hurts today, so it hurts. Pain, I don't like it. So yeah, so I'm just gonna take out like one of the colors I use, and just like one thing is you want to make sure that you have a difference between a light and a dark that you're pressing down with. And like when you do like the one of the lighter colors, like one of the lightest colors you're using, like here, you want to press down pretty hard if it's not gonna have a highlight on it. Like there's just a lighter part but it doesn't have a highlight. So yeah, I'm sorry if I sound kind of weird. I'm not really sick, but my throat has been hurting since I woke up this morning. So, yeah. So, it's just a thing that I did. Didn't really intend for it to be so finished like this, but I do really like it, and it's really cute. And I'm happy I finally got to use my new 50 pack of colored pencils, which is a lot of colored pencils compared to what I used to use. So, yeah. So I'll be back with another video eventually. This is a much better outcome than my last attempt at my hair coloring tutorial. This actually turned out a lot better. Probably because I don't usually draw hair like in this kind of style or like kind of like that. Cause this, I don't know, I'm not that creative when it comes to hair. So yeah, I guess we can cross this out with let us see her nice pink colored pencil just because. So there you go, CartoonMangaBlock. I made a hair coloring tutorial for you, a colored pencil hair coloring tutorial. Now, if anybody wants like a different medium, I don't really use anything else except like colored pencils, and watercolor is like another one that I use, but it's not all that much different. Crayons is pretty much the same thing as colored pencils, so you can just use the same thing with this. I don't use markers. I might start using it soon, but in school, so I can't really bring my markers home because they're at school right now. So, yeah. So, that has been it for this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. So, bye!